What do we do now? Now, my other favorite man of the hour, Ed Martin. If you're not following Ed Martin, I've been following him for a while. He's amazing. He's responsive. He gets stuff done. Ed Martin, for those of you who don't recall, was denied his appointment. I was going to say anointment. His appointment to a U.S. attorney. Hold on a second. Ed Martin denied U.S. attorney. I think it was what's his face, Thune. Ed Martin was reportedly considered for the U.S. attorney post in Missouri by the Trump administration. Who was it? It was Thune. Someone stood in the way of his nomination, Ed Martin, and so now he sort of has a bit of a back scene role position in the government. He's doing amazing stuff. He's been put on the pardon committee, and he's doing amazing work. My operating theory is that, I mean, and everybody said this, like when Matt Gaetz was going to be thought of or recommended for AG, and people are like, no, when he got shut down, everyone's like, okay, well, have him work in the backdrop. He doesn't need to be the face of the AG. That can be Pam Bondi, and he can do the legwork, the dirty work, and the meaningful work behind the scenes. That's effectively what's happening now with Ed Martin. Ed Martin is Adam Schiff blocked Ed Martin. There were a few. There was a fight over who blocked Ed Martin. Hold on a second. Who blocked the appointment of Ed Martin? I wish I knew these things offhand, but unfortunately, there's too much. He was indeed floated for U.S. attorney post in Missouri early in the Trump administration. This is going back to then. I'll forget it. We'll get that afterwards anyhow. Bottom line, Ed Martin is now arguably doing the work that Pam Bondi should be doing, but at her direction. So everybody's saving face and everybody looks like they're doing good work. And they are doing good work because right now, we had the other day, the DOJ indicted the mayor of New Orleans on fraud. And it seems that if there's any justice, dead to rights in terms of the fraudulent Fannie Willis-esque type money laundering, material misstatements of fact, false affidavits, dead to rights. So they've gone after LaToya Cantrell of New Orleans, indicted, and it's a good indictment. Still allegations, but the material evidence is there. It seems that they're going after Adam Schiff in a meaningful way and Letitia James in a meaningful way. And I know everyone out there is going to say, what about Epstein? What about Epstein? What about Epstein? And don't ever forget about Epstein. Pam Bondi is not getting a pass on the Epstein debacle, and nobody is forgetting about the Epstein debacle or the Epstein files. It seems that some progress is being made there slowly but surely, but we're not forgetting about it despite what some people might want. That being said, you do not refuse to recognize progress and damn good news when you see it. And there is damn good news coming out of the administration. And it looks like Ed Martin is spearheading it at the behest of Pam Bondi. But some things are happening. Let me see here. This is coming from MJ Truth Ultra. Watchdog, researcher, humor specialist. Says, ooh, googly eyes. Associate Deputy Attorney General Ed Martin on his criminal referrals for Adam Schiff and Letitia James and Russiagate. Listen to what he says. He says the DOJ is working on things right now that they, quote, can't talk about, end quote, because of the nature of the crimes. I wonder what they can't talk about. When someone says they can't talk about it, they're talking about it, and they're telling you a lot about it. We're going to talk about everybody who deserves to be in jail. Adam Schiff, Letitia James, Gavin Newsom, we're going to get to. Listen to what Ed Martin has to say about what's going on with Adam Schiff and what he's doing with Letitia James, showing up at her properties, the one that she's alleged to have committed mortgage fraud on, to look at the property. I'm going to get to that afterwards. Let's start with this.
Assess for us the last 10 years in your view, and you have criminal referrals right now on Adam Schiff, Letitia James, among others. What is the status?
Well, first of all, thanks for asking about the last 10 years. I mean, when Donald Trump came into office as president, he signed an executive order saying, go and find out how government was weaponized against the citizens. When Attorney General Bondi came into office, she put a memo, put more specifics to it, and said, get to the bottom of this. She gave a specific list and a broad charge. And I have to tell you, for your viewers, we have the Attorney General Bondi has that Department of Justice spinning like a top. We've got more stuff going on. A lot of it we can't talk about because of the nature of it, but it's going like crazy. And one of them was, we were in a group, we're still in it, working on the Russia hoax. And Tulsi Gabbard declassified what happened, and she sent it over to us, to DOJ, as a criminal referral, and that's ongoing now.
I want to pause it here. I want to highlight something that's very important. Whether or not you think Pam Bondi is the one directing it, this is good etiquette. I mean, in theory, Pam Bondi is Ed Martin's boss. Donald Trump is Pam Bondi's boss. And you don't want to humiliate your boss, and you certainly don't want to undermine your own administration. So it does no good to anybody to say, we are basically forcing Pam Bondi's hand so that we can finally take action. But that's what they're doing. That's what Tulsi Gabbard is doing when she says, I've referred this for criminal investigation to Pam Bondi, and there must be accountability. That's what J.D. Vance is doing when he says there will be indictments. That's what Dan Bongino was doing when he says, it's Pam or me with respect to this Epstein debacle. And that's what Kash Patel is doing when he says, we declassified, we've given it to Pam Bondi, it's on her desk. That is the polite teamwork way of really ratcheting up the pressure on what I would argue is the weaker of the links, Pam Bondi. Whether or not she's reluctant to do it for corrupt reasons, whether or not she's incompetent, whether or not she's over her head, it doesn't matter. The entire administration has now basically forced her, and that she's now just riding this wave that they've initiated, if that makes sense.
But what that was, and Maria, you're one of the earliest, I think you might be the only person, the only journalist who said early on, this is a Russia hoax. And you know, Brett had President Trump on an interview on that flight to Alaska. And in the interview, President Trump said the Russia hoax was meant to destroy the relationship with Russia, make it impossible to get things under control, get a reset like Hillary said she wanted. So what we have in the Department of Justice now is a weaponization working group and the backing of our leadership to go and find this stuff. And
the backing of our leadership to go and find this stuff. And by the way, just to highlight the fact that if you've been following Barnes and Nye, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, the fact that Russiagate was used as a pretext to foment strife and global conflict with Russia, which facilitated, if not outright led to the war between Russia and Ukraine, you would have heard that if you followed the channel. So that would not have been the first time that you heard that fact. It's a fact that the Russiagate was the demonization of Russia, which facilitated this endless war now that they've gotten into, because Russia since since the fall of the Soviet Union, in movies, for those of us who are old enough to remember good movies from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you had your two existential enemies. It was the Middle East and it was Russia. And since 2015, 2016, it was Russia. And it became socially acceptable because of the demonization that Russiagate provided to mainstream media and mainstream society. Now we're going to get into, what's his face? The Schiff for Brains McSchiff face. Adam Schiff. I said Schiff. I did not say shit. Although I swore a little too much on Twitter yesterday.
So the Russia hoax, we know the birthday of the Russia hoax. It's December 8th, 2016, where the Obama administration, including Obama, said, don't put the truth out, lie, and ask the media to help us. And the Washington Post and others jumped right in. And then we had the Russia hoax that went on for 10 years. And every time they get in trouble, meaning the deep state and others, they throw another hoax out. And all we're doing at DOJ and all we're doing across the government is saying, get the truth out. And then, by the way, let's hold people accountable. And that's exactly what's going on. So when Bill Pulte sends a criminal referral over to us, and he says, Letitia James and Adam Schiff, and by the way, both their lawyers have come out and talked publicly about that criminal referral. So you can talk to them about the specifics, because I'm going to tell you what we're going to do is we're going to follow the facts. Every American has that has a mortgage or has other documents they sign has to follow the law. We're going to go to the very bottom of the facts. And if somebody did something wrong, we're not only going to hold them accountable, we're also going to look at everything else that they've been doing. Because when you're a liar, you lie not just on one thing. When you're a cheater, you cheat not just on one thing. When you're doing corruption, you generally don't just do it on one thing. So that's our what we're asked to do as prosecutors, and that's what we're doing.
This is sort of like, you remember the Mueller investigation, what it led to by way of incidental alleged criminality. It was the purpose of the Mueller investigation to go after anybody and everybody and then find them on tax evasion or some stupid incidental to the investigation. That's kind of what's happening now. The only difference is there's actual criminality, hard evidence about it, and we just don't know the scope of it. The mortgage fraud for Letitia James and Adam Schiff from Brains McSchiff is objective, black and white on paper. They're going to argue, stating my main residence was immaterial. it was an innocent mistake. All right, go argue innocent mistake when you say that your primary residence is in a different state than that in which you're a congressman or a senator. Go try that. Go with Letitia. By the way, speaking of Letitia James, look at this. Imagine, man, this is so classic. Who put this one up? Nick Sortor, friend of the show, good friend. He's a great guy. Follow him. I mean, everybody knows who he is. Ed Martin, the special prosecutor investigating Letitia James for mortgage fraud, has been spotted outside her home in New York City. The walls are closing in, Big Tish, except they are. I can't wait to see this mugshot. Ed Martin won't stop until she's behind bars. Oh, this is from HT means heard through Miranda Devine. Oh, is that the proper etiquette? Are you supposed to do this? Okay, let me just play this one here.
Is there a back alley? I'm just sure there's like the Pratt building. Is there
you want me to tell you how to access my...
No, I'm just asking. No, I'm asking. Yeah, I'm interested because usually houses like this.
Tell me why you're here.
We're interested in the houses.
You're not
because it's a public sidewalk, woman.
interested in the houses. We know who lives here.
Is this like Second Empire?
It's just a track house. That's what all of these things
I know,
are.
but when was it built, do you think?
They were built before 1899.
Oh, so, okay.
1899, that's old.
Why are you being so disingenuous about what you're here for? You're not here about the houses. You're here about who lives here.
We want to see where she
My
lives,
neighborhood.
if it's a primary residence.
You guys
We're
look like you're
happy to.
official capacity.
I'm just happy to be on a block looking at a house.
That's not true. Why won't you be
No, he
honest?
is happy.
Well, why won't you be honest with me about what you're doing? You are acting suspicious on my block in front of my house, and you're not telling me what you're doing. That's not true.
Interesting houses. It's an important house.
It's an important house. I got to play this, Drew. Well, that means I got to press play.
Thank you.
It's not. It's just like every other track house on this block that was built by developers.
Except it belongs to a mortgage fraudster, Letitia James. Is this where she was living when she said her main residence was in another state?
Right, they're beautiful. Beautiful neighborhood.
Thank you.
I mean, do you guys call this a stoop?
What do you think?
I don't know. Is this a stoop? We didn't have stoops where I was growing up. Is this a stoop?
I want to know what you're doing.
You know, if you have a dog on the stoop, they call that a stoop dog. Bada bing, bada boom.
You're not.
Very good.
Now, I will say, if I saw Ed Martin and that other guy standing outside my house, I might be intimidated, especially if I knew that I had committed mortgage fraud. Oh my goodness. That's what's going on with Letitia James and Adam Schiff for Brains Make Schiff. And by the way, the leaking of the classified information is the very serious stuff. The mortgage fraud, what did they get Al Capone on? Can't get him on murder, but you guarantee that someone who's committed murder or RICO type conspiracy has also done some other bad stuff. If you're going to get him on something stupid, by all means, and when that something stupid dovetails or bleeds into bigger, broader, badder fraud, my goodness, like Ed Martin said, if they've done one thing wrong, they've done one thing wrong more than once, and they've done more than one thing wrong. Holy, sweet, merciful crab apples. It's glorious.